welcome to this week's episode of Connected. It is brought to you by the fine folks over at Sentry and Steam Clock. It is, in fact, episode 605. My name is Man of the People, Myke Hurley, and I have the pleasure of introducing to you the keynote chairman for now, Federico Viticci. Hi, Federico.
Oh, hello, Man of the People. I will say keynote chairman for the foreseeable future.
We're doing the Rickies next week.
Yeah.
Not ready for that. Not ready for that.
Yeah. We are also joined by the illustrious annual chairman, Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you, sir? Today?
I'm good. I will say, being annual chairman, the stress of an individual keynote just it washes away. When you're keynote chairman,
don't you feel stressed because you could start losing points for the year, though?
I mean, there is that, but I mean, like, I more mean in the sense like my title's safe through June, right? It's actually safe through December. Now, could I consolidate power? Potentially.
Can I do a quick tiny topic 0.0.0 before follow-up?
Sure.
Which is a quick recap of the 2026 Rickies and see how we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever done this. We won't do the flexies, just the Rickies, all right? So, Steven said Tim Cook's job title changes in 2026.
Yeah.
He got that. The iPhone 17e ships in 2026. He got that too.
Yeah.
So that's 2 points so far. Now we've got the risky pick. Apple announces a Mac with a touchscreen. It is an update to an existing notebook. macOS doesn't radically change to accommodate touch.
Ew.
The product comes with the Apple polishing cloth in the box. I don't know, man. We'll see if they announce it this year or not. The problem for you is that Mac might slip now. We'll see.
I did not foresee the RAM shortages.
No, you did not. So I got Apple ships a folding iPhone. Jury's still out, but feel good about it. A Google LLM is powering some Siri features by default. I got that one.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, Apple will not have shipped equivalent features for all of the AI features shown off at WWDC 24. Craig Federighi will talk at least once more about there being two architectures. Apple will once again promise that the missing features will be shipping by the end of the next year. Actions across apps is one of the features that has not been shipped. I still think I'm going to get one of those three. Actions across apps, I don't think they're shipping this year.
Okay.
You don't think they intend to ship it?
Oh
I don't think they intend to ship it. No, I do not. Federico was Apple updates the MacBook Air with M5.
Yep.
Got that.
Yeah.
Apple ships some of the AI features previously seen at WWDC 24. I think you're going to get that.
We'll see, yeah.
The MacBook Pro is refreshed with a new chip. You got that. Because you had an extra bonus pick.
Yeah.
And then Apple ships a foldable iPhone that is called the iPhone Duo.
Yeah.
Runs both iOS and iPadOS apps and seamlessly switches between them.
Mm-hmm.
And has at least one feature that operates both the outer and inner screen at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay.
I think that last one will be some kind of camera thing.
Gotta be.
Yeah,
Gotta
for sure.
be.
It's got to be.
But
yeah.
the iOS and iPadOS apps at the same time, I feel less confident about that for you as time goes on.
Mm.
But there you go. So that's where we are so far.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good.
Now, do you want to do some follow-up, Stephen?
I do. I do. That was very exciting to be honest with you, to go down the past and future road, really.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it that way. Follow up. We have some more Triple J sightings in the wild.
Stephen, this post was deleted.
I think, well, Elijah, I don't know what happened to your post, but I'm pretty sure it was like an armory or like some sort of weapon place. Not great.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's probably against the terms of Mastodon.
Yeah.
When talking about Google I.O., I was searching for a phrase that I could not land on. And the phrase was shipping the org chart.
Yep.
The idea that you can see right through to a company's bones by what they announce. And Google is very guilty of that.
Yep.
And then there's not a lot of follow-up this week. Lastly, I just put this in here because I find it genuinely hilarious. And I like the new Apple Creator Studio icons, unlike most people. Apple has a new support document spotted by Mac Rumors. Identify Apple Creator Studio apps on your Mac.
Oh,
And
this is terrible.
it's a table of the new icons on the left and the old icons on the right.
Oh my god.
I like the new ones, but the old ones are better. But it just goes to we spoke about this. Y'all spoke about an upgrade a good bit. Just like how messy this was, mostly due to limitations in the Mac App Store. It seems like.
Yeah.
This document is incredible. What's worse, these icons or the Ferrari Luce? The icons, right? It's got to be the icons.
I think the icons.
Yeah.
We spoke about if you want our thoughts on Ferrari Luce, you got to pay up. Go to getconnectedpro.co. We spoke about it.
Look, we're trying to buy one for the show.
Yeah, so everyone's got to sign up and we can buy one to review. Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still love that McDonald's icon so much.
Emotion.
Yeah.
I think it's
So good.
It stops, right? It's like it's not the full thing. It's
McDonald.
Just like,
McDonald's.
It's like 2/3 of McDonald's.
McDonough. McDonough.
I mean, I opened like pages or numbers the other day, and it was like, "Hey, there's a new one." What? And I was like, "Go away, leave me alone. Don't make me do this." I haven't signed up for the Creator Studio yet, just because. I mean, this is the thing I said at the time. There just feels like there's just so much that I would have to deal with, and I just can't be bothered to deal with it. They did not make this as easy as it could have been. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they did one of these for iWork. If there's a document for the iWork,
Probably
apps.
somewhere, or if not, there should be, because it's the same problem.
Thing. Actually, I think it may be a little bit worse for the iWork apps because they get like version like 14.5 or whatever it is in the App Store. Yep. Not great.
I have a tiny complaint about a visit to the Apple Store, which
yes.
I don't even really think is worth bringing up.
I love these stories. No, bring it up.
I just wanted to mention it anyway, because when I was in the Apple Store, I was like, this feels like something to talk about on the show. So Adina and I and Sophia, we were in London yesterday dealing with an appointment, and we decided to stop by the Regent Street store as Adina was interested in replacing her Apple Watch Series 8. It's
great store. I've been there. Really
the Regent
nice
Street store is beautiful.
It's really nice.
It's really good looking. It's not as good looking as that one in, where was it? Is it Milan?
Memphis?
Nope, not the Memphis one. The one that you went to and took pictures in, Federico.
Oh,
Where
in
is
Rome.
That?
In Rome.
Is that one's in Rome? Okay.
Palazzo Marignoli, yes.
Is an all-time. You do a lot of good work at Mac Stories. That is like an all-time for me.
Oh, thank you. That was so fun to put together.
Yeah, because it was like cool to have the access.
Yeah.
Via del Corso.
Via del Corso, Palazzo Romagnoli. Yeah, that's a historical location. Used to be this coffee shop. This coffee shop for poets and artists, like 100 years ago or something. I don't remember the details, but like it was really popular spot for Italian culture at the time, and then it became a fast food place that was absolutely trashed by that corporation.
Important for the culture. the fast food place. Important for the culture.
Sure.
So, Adina's Apple Watch Series 8, the battery obviously isn't as great as it could be anymore. And she's not very good at charging it, so that's like a combo. The battery's bad and she's not good at charging it. It's a disaster. But also in the last few days, her Apple Watch just keeps locking when she's wearing it.
Ooh.
So it's one of these things where we tried software update. I've tried a bunch of settings, turning some things on and off, like wrist detection. None of them works. It just keeps locking. And I even put it on my wrist and it was doing the same. Like it's not that like maybe it doesn't have a heartbeat or anything anymore. Like it's... we can't, not sure what's going on, but I was like, hey, maybe it's time to get you a new one anyway. Like, this is multiple years old at this point. Like, we can take a look at that. So we were like, oh. And also, she had previously liked the rose color, like the rose gold color aluminium, and then they didn't do it in Series 8, so she got silver. So she was excited to see that was back. So I was like, great, let's get you an Apple Watch. So we were in the city, so I was like, let's just pop in and do it. So first it was hard to find the Apple Watches in general. I remember they used to have these tables that would have like glass on them and you could see in. And they just don't have that anymore. They kind of set out, at least in the Registry Store, a little bit more like iPhones, where they're just kind of like out and on the stands. Part of the problem was there were so many MacBook Neos everywhere. First time I've seen a MacBook Neo in person, didn't go near it. But I saw it, but I was like, I'm not going to touch you. And I just left it over there. This is for reasons of not wanting to buy a downstairs computer. So we went and found the models. which were all so poorly labeled. I had to go into settings to confirm which was which.
Ooh.
Like there was no labeling to say like this is the the big one, this is the little one, and the SE. Like it was just hard to discern which Apple Watch was which. But like whatever. Maybe they do that on purpose. I don't know. But we couldn't find. I ended up finding the one that would be hers, and we were looking at it. We then kind of like poked around on the iPad to choose the colors and see what we wanted. And there was no Apple Store staff at the table at all. At the 2 Apple Watch tables, there was nobody. There were customers, but there were no staff. But as is typical kind of in an Apple Store, you can see kind of people everywhere. They're all like in matching shirts or whatever. And there were a couple of employees right over at the end of the store. They were just standing there. So Dina was like, I'm just going to go over and talk to them. So she went over there to talk to them, and then I was waiting with the baby. We took a sit down. In the Regent Street Apple Store still have the chairs with the trees. The trees with the chairs
the
around
Grove, I think is what you're looking for.
Yes. No, the tree chairs. So I sat down on a tree chair, and then Adina came back and said they could get someone to help, but it would take at least 15 minutes for someone to come.
Jeez.
And from where I was standing, I could see 6 employees. They're probably within 10 feet of me. None of them appeared to be working with any customers, and 3 of them were just talking to each other. Now, I absolutely believe that they were all busy with things or were assigned to jobs in certain areas that were not dealing with the Apple Watch, right? And it was like maybe there were 2 people dealing with the Apple Watches, and they were all both in the storeroom, right, trying to find a bunch of things for some customers or whatever. But this isn't about the Regent Street store or the employees in the Regent Street store. This is just a criticism which has been levied so many times about the way that Apple chooses to lay out their stores and how they staff them. Because you end up in these situations as a customer where you're just kind of stuck not knowing what you're supposed to do. Like, where if they just had the ability for me to go to a checkout and say, I would like this Apple Watch, and then they say, okay, someone will go get that for you, right? Like that's kind of all I really want to do. And I know that some stores are starting to bring things like this back, right? Where you can actually go to a checkout area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just left.
Yeah.
Like it's like oh, at least 15 minutes. We're just waiting, and maybe someone will come, and then it's going to take a much longer period of time for them to go through the whole thing and then go get the. It's just like, this is, and I mean, like, it's not on these people, right? Because it's just like they're doing whatever they're doing. Like I know how these stores are kind of arranged. Like people are assigned to do certain roles, but it's like it would just be so easy if I just had a central place to go and ask for a product rather than like hoping to catch the eye of someone who's floating around the store, So it was just a frustrating experience. And it reminded me kind of like of all the frustrating experiences I've ever had in the Apple Store is always some flavor of this. Like the only time that the Apple Store really works is iPhone Day because they are regimented, right? Like they're getting you in and out. You're in a line. You know where you're going. Everyone's expecting you. They're checking your reservations and you're just doing the whole thing. Like, and also just in general, reserving products in advance and picking them up. Like, I don't know why we didn't do that. Like, Idiana wanted to take a look, but like that was I find the only real way to get what you want. You go in and say, I've got this reservation. Someone scans you and then you just sit on the tree chair and wait for them to bring you a product. I just find it really frustrating. It's like they set all this stuff out for work and business and then they just can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. I popped into mine recently to buy a phone for somebody and I knew what I wanted. I just didn't, I was like, it's near me. I can just drive over and go get it. And I was like, hey, I need a phone. Okay, go stand over here. And like, I knew what I needed, but I still had to like go through the sort of the song and dance of it. The watches, at least in my store, are right up front and they're just out on tables.
Yeah.
And you're right. Unlike everything else, like the iPhones are all divided. It's like, oh, this is the iPhone Air and these are the colors it's in. And this is the 17 and these are the colors it's in, right? The watches are just like in some sort of like area. And you kind of don't know what's what. I think the idea is that someone's going to like help you and you're going to try it on. But waiting 15 minutes is not It's
like waiting 15 minutes for hopefully someone to come help. It's like, we're not going to sit and do that. Like,
you know what solves
been
that?
Out all day with the baby.
Waiting in line because people understand that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it just reminds me, it's like this. The reason that we have this thing where you can just buy a thing by scanning it in the Apple Store app is to try and solve this issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Apple knows that the way that they set up their stores means that sometimes you're just kind of like hanging around hoping to buy something from like a random person. So like, why don't we just let you buy things and walk out the store? But obviously you can't do that to the bigger products.
Yeah. And anytime I've done it like with iPhone cases and stuff, and it feels like stealing every time.
Every time.
I don't know where we are on the show anymore because you keep just like lobbing topics into it as we go.
Yeah. Well, we could take a break and then we'll come back to Tiny Topic 1. To be fair, Tiny Topic 0.0, which was the tiniest complaint about the Apple Store, was already in there.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Sentry. If you're working in software, you have a web app or a mobile app, something internal, something for customers, you know how complicated things can get when you get a bug report. Someone says something is broken, but you can't reproduce it. So then you start digging. You go through logs, check your traces. You still have no idea what the user actually saw. Sentry Session Replay fixes that. It gives you a video-like reproduction of exactly what the user experienced. Their clicks, scrolls, what loaded, what didn't, all tied to the error in one timeline. So you can see the console output, network calls, and even rage clicks where users hammered a broken button. And because it's built into Sentry, the replay is already linked to the error, the trace, and the logs. No hunting required. We recently did a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff on our CMS at Relay, and we used Sentry to monitor that CMS. And it was really helpful to know when we were having issues through that migration process. We weren't having to dig or through a bunch of different tools, jump between different tools. Sentry had it all together for us. And this is private. Privacy is on by default. Sensitive text and media is masked, so you're never capturing what you shouldn't be. It works on the web and mobile, React, Next.js, iOS, Android, Flutter, you name it. Millions of developers use Sentry, including teams and Anthropic and Disney+. Try it free at Sentry.io. That's Sentry, Sentry.io, and tell them that we sent you. They have a free dev plan, and listeners of Connected can use the code CONNECTED26 to get $100 in credit if you're a new user. That's Sentry.io and the code CONNECTED26 for $100 in credits if you're a new user. My thanks to Sentry for the support of the show and all of Relay.
Yeah, Stephen, you be blogging.
Yeah, man.
You'll be blogging in Upper Storm. You snuck an entire blog post into your Now page.
Yes.
I did.
Which to me feels like something that you would talk about, which was you re-architected your entire website. I feel like that's like a thing that you would usually,
Make a post about.
Here's my blog post and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought on the Now page, like it draws less attention to it, but now we're talking about it on the show, so I guess that didn't work.
No, this is part of the reason we're doing it. Is because it felt like you were trying to bury this news, and I want to allow it. So here we are. What did you do to your website? Did you break it?
In many ways. I do have a fix for what we see in Notion, which is a broken preview image. That's fine. So I mean, you can go read the post, but I have joined the cool kids in running my site on a static site generator, which is just wild. After 512 is getting ready to be 18 years old, for like 16 and a half of those years, it's been on WordPress. And it's Federico, I know you and I have talked about this. Like WordPress is great, but when you get big enough, things can get weird and complicated. So I'm knocking on the door of 12,000 posts over those 18 years.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, I bet you're more. Because our sites are
knocking on the door of 18,000.
Right, yeah. And your site's a year younger than mine, I think, or something like
2009?
that. Yeah, so 1 year younger. But you have a whole team. Like, I mean, John's in there just like power blocking every day.
Yeah.
I'm knocking on the door of like 50. Any day now, I'm going to catch up to you two.
Yeah.
In trouble.
Are you still doing the every Friday thing?
In theory, I haven't been. The reason I've not been blogging is because I've been too busy with Kickstarter stuff, which that's a story for another time.
Wow, you just dropped that right in.
Did I even say a URL? No, I just said.
I mean,
said,
if people
want to
go to design.fm and learn more about what you're doing, that's fine.
Yeah, they can do that, but I didn't say it. But yes,
You've been busy.
I haven't had the time. I haven't had the time.
Yeah. So the problem I had was that my traffic is extremely unpredictable. It gets a pretty good amount of traffic every day, but my project pages, including the macOS screenshot library, but especially the 6K macOS wallpaper page, those pages do a lot of traffic. The wallpaper page is wild traffic just every day. You can just count on it. But then like 8 times a year, people rediscover it on Hacker News or Reddit, or most recently it was on like some sort of like Chinese Apple user forum. And I don't have it in front of me, but like the traffic was just unbelievable in terms of how many people came. And that made
what page? Sorry, what page?
The 6K, the macOS wallpaper gallery.
Right, the wallpapers. Okay, yeah.
And that makes it really expensive to host because you have to account for those days. And I just was kind of at a point where it's like, that's a lot of money for a project that literally makes no money unless you buy a t-shirt. Like it doesn't really make sense. And so I moved to Hugo, which is a static site generator. I looked at several. I talked to a bunch of people who were in this world. I chose Hugo because of the size of the site. 11T and some others would take a really long time to build a site this big. And Hugo is written in Go, and it just doesn't care about your battery life or your fans in your computer. It's like, I'm going to build this site as fast as I can. And what you get as the visitor is just HTML pages, no database calls, no WordPress shenanigans. It's just static files, which means it's also really fast for the visitors, which is awesome because parts of it were quite slow on WordPress.
I just learned that 11T was a site generator. This entire time, I thought it was something about accessibility.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. I mixed them up in my brain.
Apparently so.
And I just thought that when people were talking about 11T, they were talking about an accessibility tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a static site generator.
I don't really understand static site generators.
Okay.
If I'm being completely awesome, honest. I don't get it.
You're being completely awesome, Myke. Yeah.
Completely awesome.
The 3-second version is WordPress, Neon, our CMS at Relay. Like those are web applications that have database calls. It's like all the data lives in a database and the page calls that information when it gets built. Or it's cached. It doesn't do it that often. But what a static site generator is, like all you get when you hit a page on 512 or any other site that is built this way now is just a web page. How it does that is that it builds the site, and in my case, locally on my Mac. And then I push changes up to Cloudflare, which is where I'm hosting it now. And it makes the web part of it much simpler. Like if you were to poke around the directory of the site now, it's just HTML files and some JavaScript and some CSS. Like it's as simple as it can be. And it builds all that locally, and then I just push the changes up.
But why wouldn't you always do that?
Because there's downsides to this. Like I no longer have a CMS. Like I sort of shoehorned my site into IA Writer to edit posts, which is fine. Like I like IA Writer and it actually handles this really well, but I don't have a web interface to edit this unless I go to the private GitHub repo and like edit a markdown file and then rebuild the site. So you are jumping through more hoops to do this. And if I were on a team, like say that Mac Stories wanted to do this, y'all would have to work through how to do that with multiple people. You'd be checking things in and out of GitHub. And I know y'all do some of that, or at least you have in the past with your like editing workflows. But as a single person just working on the site, I post guest posts sometimes, but those people were not in WordPress, right? They would just like send me their thing and I would publish it. It's fine. And so yeah, the downside is like the ease of use. The upside is the speed, the simplicity, and I'm going to be paying a fraction of what I was for my hosting, which was the sort of the first thing that kicked this off was like, and I switched WordPress hosts like several times over the years. trying to find something that was a balance of cost and performance. And every time I did that, it just ended up being expensive and kind of overly complicated for my needs.
Okay.
But yes, I broke lots of things. I am sorry. Some of it was foreseen. Some of it was not foreseen. But if you see anything weird, let me know. Drop me a note, and I'll get it fixed.
Do you have to use different apps now?
Yeah, I had to say goodbye to Mars Edit, which is really sad. I love Mars Edit. I'm sorry, Daniel. So I'm writing in. I could write in anything that knows Markdown. The reason I chose IA Writer is because I like the way that you can like set a folder on your Mac to be like your library. And so I have my posts folder as the library in IA Writer. Create a new document, put the front matter in, which is like all the metadata at the top of the document. Write. I save it. This is all like in my local documents folder. This is not even on Dropbox. It's just in my local documents folder on my Mac. If I want to preview the site locally, I can build it in Terminal. And that's how I was doing all the development work, was like I just have a local web server running and I can break things. And like my local site now is really broken because I was trying to fix something with footnotes. Which I have a fix for now. I'm going to get that out this afternoon. But I can build it locally, check it out, make sure it works. And then I push any changes to GitHub, and then Cloudflare watches the GitHub repo and builds the site, like takes the site live on Cloudflare automatically. So as soon as I hit push into the repo, then after a couple minutes, the change is reflected online. So that part's all automated, which is really nice. Hugo is really well supported by these services. It seems to be very popular. My research was basically all positive. And so basically as soon as I write something, save it and upload it to GitHub, then the rest of it is automatic.
If you have to fix a typo, do you have to rebuild your entire website?
Yes. Well, so if I want, I don't have to rebuild it.
I don't know.
I don't have to rebuild it locally. Like a typo would just update that one page. So I could update the page. Cloudflare will like take that page and rebuild that page. That still takes a minute or so. But I have to rebuild the whole site. Like if I make a site-wide CSS change, if that calls like if I have to like change a class somewhere, it's really like old school web development. Like like the footer is like its own file that it pulls in. But if I wanted to change something like I need to change like the tags that form the sidebar, then that could be universal, but it's fast because it's all just text. My M4 Max MacBook Pro will build the site from zero, like a cold build, within like maybe 25 seconds. If I'm just doing changes, it's a split second. So
okay, will that get longer over time? But obviously, it's never going to be a super long time.
It should never. I mean, like in the span of years, like in another 18 years, it will take twice as long. But but also my computer will be much faster in 10 years, probably. So,
well, okay.
I mean, unless the RAM shortage means there's no new computers anymore.
Yeah, but then you just won't be blogging anymore either. So
that's true.
all
tech is tech history at that point.
We're currently using history. Because no one can buy computers. There are no computers. So we're all using obsolete product. So
yes. So thank you to people who helped. Some people in Discord were very helpful. Our friend Rob was very helpful in helping steer me kind of towards what generator.
This feels like something Rob would like.
He was like the first person I texted. I was like, hey, I want to do this. And we actually had a conversation about 11D, and like the site size is really the problem, is that it's so big. And so Hugo is really built for that. I will tell you, Go is a wild language. Like I've had to do a little bit in Go. And like I know Mark had talked about this years ago because the Overcast crawlers are written in Go. It's bananas town in there. Like I never want to go in there again. Like I did like the couple things I needed to do. I was like, I was going to back out of this room very slowly.
Surely the LLMs know it though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Claude did some of this work for me. It was a helpful partner.
Helped by Rob and Claude.
That's right. Yeah. But now I'm just doing like again, Federico knows this. We both have lived this. Like, you end up with cruft in WordPress installs.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, for like 5 years, I used this like random type of thing for these posts, and then I quit using it. Well, like that's fine because WordPress knows about both. But when you change CMSs or you move to no CMS, it's like, well, I have to contend with all that now. And so it's been I'm going to put in air quotes, a fun trip down memory lane of like past decisions I made. I tell you, I would have done some things differently in the beginning that I'm still paying for in some ways. But it's also been fun to like really work on the site. Like I've really gotten to refresh, especially my CSS skills, but do some JavaScript stuff. It's kind of been fun to be like a web developer a little bit.
This had the ringing of a classic Steven project to me, though, where you were like, I'm thinking I might change something around with the website, and then like 3 days later, you're like, it's live now. It's like, wow, okay. Like that is a classic Steven.
I spent
project.
Basically all day Saturday just holed up working on this.
Because this is how I've known you to like buy cars.
Sometimes.
You're like, I'm thinking about a new car. It's like, hey, look at this thing. Just driving it off the lot like 3 days later.
So usually what happens there is like I've made my decision, and then I'm not thinking about the decision. I'm thinking about like executing the decision.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So good news, guys. Johnny Ive designed my next car.
Oh, sick.
JK.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You two are both wearing the device of my dreams, except it's made by the wrong company, which is the Fitbit Air. So you both bought one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any first impressions that you'd like to share with me? So this is essentially a fitness tracker with no screen. It just looks like, what if an Apple Watch band, but all the way round?
Yeah, I love it. I was talking about this with Brandon on MPC. He actually also got one. I love it so much. It's so like you don't think about it, and because it doesn't have a screen, I noticed that the LED sensor is always on, like it's always polling, because it doesn't have the concern of the display and using apps and all the things that an Apple Watch can do. Connectivity, like I mean, it's only syncing to via Bluetooth to the app, but it doesn't have to do anything else. And because of that, so I've been using this for the past 2 or 3 days, just wearing both my Apple Watch and the Fitbit on the same wrist.
Yep, same.
I had to do so my right wrist, I cannot use these devices because I got a tattoo. The left wrist is the only one that is free. No joke, I kept it free because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to use wearable devices.
You need to make like just like the perfect ring of an Apple Watch sensor and like tattoo all around it.
Yeah.
Just like, this is it.
That's actually a pretty good idea. And I noticed that the data that I get out of the Fitbit Air seems to me more accurate than the Apple Watch. I love that it's saving a lot of data. It's saving a lot of data points that is capturing throughout the day. And something very nice that I think Google has done, because I mean the device itself, there's nothing to it. I got the equivalent of like, what is it, like a nylon band?
Yeah.
The one size, you can just adjust it to your preferred comfort size. There's nothing to it once you set it up. But something that Google has done is, as part of the rebrand from Fitbit to Google Health for the app on the iPhone, which I don't hate. I think it's actually really nicely designed and a lot more intuitive, if you ask me, than Apple Health. If you just want to see how well or badly you slept, that's a UI and a navigation with fewer taps than the Health app from Apple that makes sense to me. But the cool thing is Google launched day one a Google Health API. So because everything is saved and encrypted in your Google account, there's an API. And you know me, I obviously immediately made a command line interface for it.
Why?
Because now every morning I can just open Codex in ChatGPT on my phone, and I can ask, give me a breakdown of how well I slept last night.
Yeah, but doesn't the,
Can't you just open the app?
do this? Like, doesn't it have a chatbot in it?
Does it? I haven't even used it.
Oh, I think there's a subscription to pay for
Yeah,
an AI.
I'm not paying that. I can just open Codex and it gives me like in about a minute, it runs through all the data points.
Okay,
And
that makes
what's
more
nice-
sense to me, because then you
what's
don't
nice is
need the
that-
ultra plan or whatever, and you can
Yeah.
do the same kind
No.
of thing.
And it cross references, right? So when did the user go to bed? What's the sleep data for that time threshold like? Cross references that time threshold with heart rate data. And about a minute later, it gives me a natural language response, being like, yeah, this is how well you slept. Deep sleep was more than the day before, but you were awake a couple more minutes. And I think it's really useful to have this kind of simple interaction in plain language that doesn't require looking at charts and graphs and a bunch of different things on a screen.
Yeah. I want to make a recommendation at this point for, because, I've spoken a lot about Athletic. I think I've actually spoken about this on the show already, but I'm just going to say it again. The makers of Athletic make an app called Pace now, which is basically this kind of thing. It's less about athletic fitness but general fitness. And you open the app and it's like it just tells you this stuff in English, rather than like, here's the score and here's the. It's like, this is going on, you slept well. So like, yeah, if you have an Apple Watch and you want something that's a little bit closer to this, I recommend this app.
I agree on all the hardware stuff, and I really would love an Apple version of this. It weighs nothing. I have the same band you do, Federico. Weighs nothing. You don't think about it. The battery life is like, even with the Apple Watch Ultra, is like so far beyond, because it's just doing so much less. And I would love a world where I could wear a traditional watch when I want to, but still have fitness data. I don't like the application. I had an old Fitbit account and that's gone. And like the migration to Google Health is super bad. I had several restarts where it kept trying to log in as a different Google account that my phone knows about. And it's like, well, no, stop. Like, I've told you what my email address is. Quit trying to use the other one. Finally got that done. And I just don't like the app itself. Most of it's personal taste and some of the design choices. I think it's a bit busy. I did not, at this point, have not paid for the AI coach thing. In fact, last time I looked, it wasn't even available to me. I don't know if it's like rolling out or what the deal is. That's fine by me at this point. But my plan is to do like a sort of a long-term review. I don't know how I feel about like which one's more accurate in terms of steps and things like that, but really no one is going to wear two of these things, hardly at all. And so it's more about like knowing the one that you have, kind of, how it works for you. And right now, I think it's also important to note for iPhone users in particular, obviously, it only has one-way sync with Apple Health. It can read information from Apple Health, and you can, in the UI, it sure looks like it should write to Apple Health, but it doesn't. That's forthcoming, hopefully. I've read different things about what Google has said there. For me, I would want that. But it's not there right now. So like right now I'm using it actually completely disconnected from Apple Health. Like just you track everything in your own little world and I'll do the stuff in the Apple world with my watch and like we'll kind of see how it goes. But it's remarkably refreshing to have a device that's like it's $99, I think. Really simple. It's not trying to get me to engage with it. Right, that it's not trying to bump into my everyday life the way the Apple Watch does, and like it's Fitbit going back to its roots, right? Like back in the day, like I had early Fitbits when it was literally like just a little puck, and you put it in a rubber band or you put it into like a clip that you could wear on your clothing somewhere, and it was literally just a pedometer, right? And then eventually they added stuff, and then for years, all Fitbits were smartwatches, effectively to some degree, right? And there's room clearly for something else. And it's not the Whoop, right? That was way more expensive. It does more. Whoop is much more about like the what it does with the data, the data collection itself, I feel like. And this is simpler than that. And I think for a lot of people, simpler is better in some of these regards. And if you don't have an Apple Watch, or you're not interested in an Apple Watch, but you still want something on your body to track more than what your phone can in your pocket, I think this is a reasonable choice, assuming that you're okay with that data basically being in Google Health and not synced back to Apple Health, at least at this point.
I'm hoping that this product is successful enough, or like appreciated enough, that maybe it pushes Apple to make it something like this. And I could imagine maybe in a world if they're going to start making a bunch of weird wearables for AI, like maybe they could do this too. Like there could be something in this world as well. Like I really hope so, because I want something that gives me all of the stuff the Apple Watch gives me, right? Because I do like the rings and all that kind of stuff, but I would like to be able to wear regular watches and still get all that information.
Yeah.
Which is why this does seem interesting to me, and I think maybe once it gets to the point, Google said it will. Once it gets to the point where it's reading and writing to Apple Health, that could be a bit more interesting for me even then. We'll see, but it does look cool, I'll say that. And like it actually as well, like wearing both of them doesn't look bad, which is the thing. If you wear an Apple Watch and one of these, like it just kind of looks like you've got some kind of, you've made a fashion choice. You know?
It's very low key, like in terms of both size, weight, and the look.
So you both have, what one do you have? Because there's like 3 different ones, isn't there? Like bands.
Yes, I don't know. I've got the rubbery one.
Okay.
Whatever it's called.
Well, because they have the performance one, the active one, and the elevated.
Let's see. I don't have this Seth Curry one, which is very funny to me.
He's been wearing one of these for months.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Active is the one I have.
The active one. So the rubbery one. The one that's more like an Apple Watch band. That's the one you have too, Federico. The rubbery one.
No, I have the nylon one.
The performance one.
Yeah,
the one that looks like a trail loop.
Yes.
Band. With the
trail
Velcro.
Loop, thank you.
Yeah, it's Velcro.
Yeah. $99 though, man. It's pretty compelling.
Pretty good. It's pretty
Without
good.
a subscription too. So MKBHD made a good video comparing it and the Whoop mostly. And like Whoop is like, it's like $300 a year, which includes the subscription. And then once you've got the hardware, then you've got to have the subscription going. So it's like, for some reason, Google's decided they want to destroy Whoop, I guess. And now they're going to do that. Very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always going to be room for something more extreme, right? But not everybody wants that. And I think there's a lot of people, like Oura Ring is apparently planning for IPO, and they have the Oura Ring 5, which is imminently due. There were some leaks about that this week. But their subscription, right? It's basically like you get the hardware, you pay for the hardware, but then you also pay for the service. Google's clearly doing that with like the AI health coach, but if you pay $99, it just does a bunch of stuff out of the box, which is also
Oura
pretty great.
announced the 5 like today.
Oh,
yeah, it was announced today. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess the leaks were.
It's lighter, thinner. Looks more like a.
It looks closer.
Normal,
it's still too big, but
still chunkier than a normal wedding ring. But it's much better than the current one. Which, I mean, you put it on and you can tell, like, oh, that's a smart ring.
Have y'all tried Oura Rings in the past?
No. Both Sylvia and I have an Oura Ring 4.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Big issue with it is that we really like it, but unlike other wearable devices, including the Fitbit Air, it leaks a lot of green light at night from the sensor.
Wow, yeah.
And that was really bothering Sylvia. She's a light sleeper, and when everything is dark, you could see these flashes of green light coming out of her hand. And that was not great. And there's actually a whole niche of people on the internet, obviously, trying to come up with solutions, including, if you search on Amazon, like silicone covers for the Oura Ring to prevent light leaking. They don't really work. We have tried so many of them. Sylvia eventually resorted to making her own sort of cover for the ring, but it was so cumbersome to sort of attach it every single night. And so she basically just stopped using it. And so did I, because it was also bothering Sylvia. And if I'm supposed to wear a fitness tracker, it's supposed to be on all day long. And so I wasn't really seeing the benefit of using a ring just for the daytime. And that's a shame, because it's not supposed to happen. She tried multiple sizes, but it seems to be a pretty widespread issue, especially if you are very sensitive to, light when you're sleeping. Yeah.
So today, before we started the show, Mark Gurman posted to Bloomberg, here's a first peek at Apple's iOS 27 kind of Siri overhaul. And it's essentially a selection of screenshots that Bloomberg has made, which I find fascinating.
Remember when I used to make concepts for the next versions of iOS? Yeah, that's what Bloomberg is doing.
I guess he's saying he's seen this, right?
Yeah, right, sure.
But you can't share those, right? Because it can lead to people getting in trouble.
This is closer to what John Prosser did.
Hey, I mean, that worked out fine.
Right? But what I find fascinating about this is they say, Bloomberg made these. Who made these? They look good. I find it just a fascinating story of here's a bunch of screenshots that I made of iOS 27. So yeah, really weird. I mean, it's not. There is no real information in here that is new. It is essentially just visual representations and a collection of the reporting that Mark has been doing over the last kind of month about what's coming. But there was one detail in here that I was like, oh man, that's going to be annoying. Which is for the kind of swipe down feature to bring up kind of Siri/Spotlight combo. You'll do that from the center of the screen, and then if you want notification center, it'll be swiping from the left, and I just know this is going to be a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
No, why? You're going to have 3 areas. So notifications left, Siri center, control center right.
For some people.
It's more, I'm talking, it's just the muscle memory of I'm going to be doing this all wrong all the time.
I bet you there's going to be a control for doing that, and everybody is going to tie that to the action button. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you think this won't be the UI that happens when you press the long press the power button? You reckon it'll be different?
I think they're gonna find, obviously, if they do this, everybody's gonna complain, right? So I am very confident that this kind of change is the kind of thing that can get tweaked by public beta time in July. But also, I would be shocked if they don't have some kind of control or app intent that puts you immediately in typing mode or whatever. Yeah.
I'm just rereading the report here, and he says that you can get Siri by both ways, but it will be a different UI from swiping down than it will be from the long press on the lock button. But yeah, I think that's a really good point, right? That maybe they'll put even just a shortcut, or it will just be part of the action button, that very intense 3D UI that they made. And that would just be one of the options, will just be bring up whatever this mode is going to be called. But yeah, interesting stuff. I am very eager for this new Siri app, or whatever it's going to be, this new Siri experience. Especially when he's saying it's possible you might be able to choose your model, which I would be fascinated if they will let you do that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting times, just a couple of weeks away. But I really just wanted to bring it up for just the pure, I think, weirdness of Bloomberg making their own screenshots.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Steam Clock. You probably have a lot of opinions about app quality. You know the difference between an app that feels right and one that feels off. Steam Clock software builds mobile apps for companies that care about taste. They're a design and development studio based in Vancouver, and they've been shipping iOS and Android apps for over 15 years. Their clients are growing tech companies that care about mobile, but don't have the in-house team to build something great. Steam Clock works with companies to level up their app so they can go from it's holding us back to it's pulling its weight. Some of their clients have discovered the hard way that vibe coding your way to the App Store is not a product strategy. Steam Clock has deep experience shipping apps for iOS and Android, and they're good at helping companies figure out the right technical approach for their situation. Client apps that they've worked on have been downloaded over 10 million times, and they've helped 5 of their clients through acquisitions. So if you're building something and need a mobile team that cares as much as you do, Steam Clock is where to start. Visit steamclock.com/connected to get in touch. That's steamclock.com/connected. Our thanks to Steam Clock for their support of the show and all of Relay. Federico, you cannot be stopped.
No.
It's another
Not
week.
anymore.
It's another
and
project.
another one.
And another one.
And another one.
Yeah. Are you getting it yet? These are not 3 websites. I don't know where I was going. Tell us about your new reminders project.
Yes, this is called REMCTL. It means reminders control. I actually think that the CTL thing is going to be my new little brand for command line interfaces, because I will be releasing more. This is my next command line interface that it's designed for people and AI agents, and it's a reminders CLI for the Apple Reminders app on macOS. Right now, it only officially works and supports macOS Tahoe. So sorry, I do not have at the moment a VM or an old Mac running. Oh gosh, what was it?
Sequoia.
No, Sequoia. So it's Tahoe only for now. But you may be wondering, what's the big deal, Tichy? There's a bunch of reminders CLIs out there that you can use with your Codex or Cloud Code or OpenClaw, whatever. Yes, that is true. But I wanted to have the best one out there because all of those existing CLIs, including the very own reminders CLI made by Peter Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw, they are all limited to what is officially offered to third-party developers who want to integrate with reminders. Which means they're using the EventKit framework, which is a sort of a subset of calendar, essentially, that can write basic reminders data. But I don't know if you noticed, but starting with iOS 13, especially, so we're talking 5-6 years ago at this point, reminders has grown a lot, and it's got a lot of features that have always been closed off to third-party developers. I'm talking about things like subtasks or image attachments or tags or grocery lists with automatic categorization, templates, sections inside lists. So how you can do now sort of a Kanban board inside reminders. There's a lot of things that third-party developers, if you want to make a reminders client, you cannot use those features because Apple locked them behind a private framework and a private API. And that was my goal. Like, I started working on this a couple of months ago, and I wondered, can I make the best possible reminders CLI that is a perfect replica of all the things you can do in reminders on the Mac? I should be able to do in this CLI with my agent of choice, instead of using the reminders app manually. And that's what REMCTL does. It's a one-to-one match for all the reminders functionalities. They're all here. Subtasks, sections. You can tell your agent to make a smart list for you with the custom filters that Apple supports. So you can ask in natural language, make me a smart list that shows me all my tasks that are tagged family and that are due within the next week, and it'll make a native smart list in reminders for you. You can choose to apply a custom symbol or a custom emoji with a specific color, and it'll use the default reminders symbols or emoji or colors. Every single reminders functionality is in the CLI and in the skill that comes bundled. This was possible thanks to Codex, which is my sort of agent for making these things of choice. And it's largely based on 3 sort of big ideas. The first one is that so reminders, again, like shortcuts that we talked about last week, reminders on the Mac keeps all of its data in an SQLite database. And that database is just freely available to you for you to copy, inspect, open in a folder on macOS. The CLI only reads from that database. It never edits, modifies, touches the database, because that would be really dangerous and silly. But it's using that database to read stuff about your reminders. Like this reminder, when is it due? Is it inside of a section of a list? Is it recurring? Does it have an urgent reminder? The new feature of iOS 26. Reads from that database. Then it has two modes for actually writing content to reminders. It uses the regular vanilla event kit for basic reminders. Like if you just ask it, remind me to take out the trash at 6 p.m., it's just going to use the regular event kit that everybody uses. But, and this was sort of the final breakthrough, Codex reverse engineered the private reminder kit framework that Apple uses for itself, and that I have no idea why there's no reminder kit API for developers. And this was the big breakthrough for me when building this. It's using Reminder Kit to natively, essentially, it acts as if it were the Reminders app, calling Reminder Kit. And so that's why if you ask, hey, can you create a reminder tagged, I don't know, podcasts, and save it in my podcast list, but inside the connected section, and give it an urgent reminder for tomorrow at 10 p.m., and it'll do that. And it'll take a couple of seconds to do that. There's lots of documentation for people and agents. And I even was able to add in a native permissions onboarding flow for the first time you install the CLI. It's going to automatically detect a bunch of things. It's going to ask you for native permissions to control the Reminders app. And it's going to open a really nice, fancy permissions window with two icons that you need to drag into system settings to give access to the terminal and the Python interpreter installed on your machine, because this thing uses Python, and it actually auto opens system settings for you inside the correct section. So all you need to do is drag those icons, give your Touch ID or password, and that's it. You're good to go.
I like it when apps do that.
Yeah.
And because I know you can do that, it annoys me whenever apps don't do that.
Yeah, it's like, go to this section of settings. Like, I don't know where that is. Like, what?
Yes.
Exactly.
It's like, it's going to take me like 10 minutes to find it because I never know where anything is in settings anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this has been like honestly really useful for me. I've been using it since I started creating this. I know that John has been using it as like with all the things that he does. Like John, for example, this week is told me that he was very busy like managing a lot of sponsorship related emails. And he told me that he really loved the combination of like using, I think John uses Claude, and he was using Claude to sort of make sense of his emails using the Spark CLI and My Reminders CLI. So to create like tasks for those emails from sponsors and making sense of like those dozens and dozens of messages. And yeah, obviously free and open source and available for everybody to use. Submit a file, an issue, and I will take a look at it. And it's pretty agnostic in the sense that you can use it with Codex, with Claude, with OpenClaw. It doesn't matter. God forbid I even tested it with Grok and it works. I mean, I had to, because there's going to be the people who are like, oh, did you test it with Grok? Yes, I did.
Did you do it with new deepfakes in your reminders list?
I did not.
That's good.
Thankfully.
Good.
Well, I don't know. Grok might put them in there. You got to watch out.
At least for now. I tested it with Perplexity Personal. I tested it with everything, and it works. So yeah.
How do you expect this to hold up over time?
That's a fun question.
Like macOS 27 is coming.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Whoa, leak. Mac Rumors, when you quote this, it's the Connected Podcast Reports.
Yes, on the Relay Network. Yes.
Exclusive.
I mean, you'll have months to fix it, I guess, if there are issues.
I do, and
it's not like you're busy at this time of year.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The great thing is that I have, like I said last week, I'm learning a lot in this process of making these tools and releasing them. And something that I learned is that that database exists on macOS for a lot of compatibility reasons as well.
Okay.
which means that set aside the iCloud syncing part, which of course I cannot touch because that requires a private entitlement from Apple. That database knows how to handle certain reminders that need to be displayed on an older machine, right? So you gotta keep the some compatibility layer going. But worst case scenario, if Apple decides to completely change the reminders data layer for macOS 27 and iOS 27, I will get to work and I will make it so the CLI knows how to handle a device on 26 versus a device on 27.
Right.
But at this point, given how the real thing that would suck for me wouldn't be like changing the data layer, because at these agents can just do things. The only obstacle, realistically, that I foresee is if and when, hopefully never, Apple locks down macOS so that these things are not freely available for you to inspect in folders.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Hope it doesn't happen.
I wonder if this agent stuff makes it more or less likely that they would do that. I feel like I don't have a good answer.
Me neither. It's been on my mind, and it's especially because, like, I was thinking, what if... So I was talking behind the scenes with friend of the show, Steve Tron-Smith, about this. Like, what happens when these agents can just take something that's on the operating system and make something based on it, but that doesn't exist out of the box? And I guess my question would be, what happens if Apple actually embraces this? And but maybe they don't, but maybe they just intentionally ignore it and just let it be, because they know, here's the thing, they know that AI developers and tinkerers and enthusiasts choose and prioritize macOS because of this, right?
Yeah. I think, I mean, this is like a dreaded thing to say, but I think at some point they need to create a set of privacy controls.
Yeah.
To allow, to help users that maybe don't know what they're doing, who are installing some of these tools that they find on the internet.
Maybe, like, if you're not at the very... I mean, for example, this CLI, first of all, it requires you to issue some terminal commands. So there's already
we're not super far away though from like, we'll just take care of that part for you, right? Like,
right.
You're not, you're not many. I can understand you wouldn't do this, but you could create part of the system to do it, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So I figure at some point there might be a benefit to some of these things requiring you as a user to kind of like, like Jason's spoken about like developer mode a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like there being just some kind of like, I know what I'm doing here. I think that there could be something beneficial to having something like that, because too many people are getting too clever about using the computer, and in a way that could be catastrophic for people that don't fully understand what they're doing. They saw something on Reddit that everyone was excited about, and they just went and installed it.
It could be, and I mean, there's a developer mode on iOS already, and I mean, it wouldn't be too much of a hassle to have a developer mode on macOS that basically bypasses a bunch of those security restrictions, and it requires you to restart your Mac twice and put in your password 10 times, and then it's enabled. That would be fine, because it's the kind of thing that you do once and then forget about it. And if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. So yeah, I could actually see that scenario where the entirety of or maybe most of the underpinnings of these apps on macOS, like library/application support, like that kind of stuff, gets hidden. I mean, it's already hidden by default, like the library folder, for example, it's already hidden by default. You gotta know how to show it, but it's there in the file system. I could see a scenario in which they sort of hide that and lock it down by default, but then if you want to enable developer mode, you can. I just don't think they're gonna get rid of that access for good, because otherwise most macOS users would just absolutely revolt and demand that John Ternus already steps down.
And I think, they seem to, I think they're pretty proud of the fact that there are so many people that are using their Macs in these ways. I think that they seem to be excited about it. And so doing things like this would stop that. It
Exactly.
would just stop it dead. And so I don't think it would be. But at the same time, I think that they need to show a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah.
For people.
Obviously, it goes without saying, I expect that for most interactions with reminders, you will get a great experience with the new Siri backed by Google Gemini. The advantage here is that if you want to use something like Codex and Cloud Code or your OpenClaw, your Hermes agent, whatever, this allows you to use reminders to its full extent from your OpenAI or Anthropic application of choice. It allows you to do things like, for example, something really nice that I can do now. Every week, I used to have a shortcuts personal automation to create the template in reminders for the next issue of Mac Stories Weekly, the newsletter for the upcoming week. But I had to go into the reminders app, manually delete the previous week's list, take the new one and manually pin it to the top of the sidebar. Now I have a Codex automation that does it all for me. It automatically deletes the previous list and creates the new project and automatically makes it a pinned project to the top of the sidebar, because that's another sort of private API feature that it supports. So that's nice. And that's something that you can do with Codex. And I'm sure you can replicate sort of the same with a Cloud Code routine or whatever they're called.
Did you have to, like, for some of this stuff that's in the private API, did you have to ask Codex to find these features specifically? Like, I want to do this. How is it doing this?
Yes, I had to set a goal. That's a feature of Codex, which is, I think I mentioned it before, it's the OpenAI version of a loop where you put an agent in a loop on itself and it doesn't stop until it's satisfied with the result. Set it to extra high, disabled fast mode because I didn't want to burn through my usage. And I think it worked for about an hour. And it came to the conclusion on its own, found the Objective-C file that was responsible for Reminder Kit, and created its own sort of third-party Objective-C bridge for Reminder Kit. So that when the CLI talks to reminders and says, I want to, I don't know, create a template, reminders doesn't even know. It just says, okay, this is coming from a Reminder Kit. It's fine. It's signed. I can sync it with iCloud. No worries. But yes, Codex, Codex couldn't do it. And I realized, well, let me try the goal command. And I bumped up the model reasoning level. And I said, no, you got to find a way to make it happen. Go for it. And sure enough, it did.
Does everything need a command line interface? It feels like right now everything needs a CLI.
Well, we've ended up here because these agents are best when used on a computer that is open like a Mac, or to an extent a Windows machine, probably better on Linux actually than Windows.
The world in which we've entered, where the phrase open, kind of like how a Windows machine is open, is like a very
wild.
Funny. It's just not where I expected we'd ever be.
Windows file systems and sandboxing are weird, and that's why OpenAI, people are complaining that OpenAI is shipping all these fancy new Codex features for macOS only, because quite a paradox, but it's actually easier.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And I guess that it's the historical inherent security of macOS, maybe.
Yeah.
Right,
maybe.
Which has allowed for these things to occur. I don't know what the reason is, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
But because it feels like right now everything's getting a command, or maybe it's just because I follow you and John. It feels like everything's getting a command line interface, but I think it's just you two.
We've seen from a lot of third-party developers. Maybe that's our influence. I don't know, but used to, like, they are. If you think about it this way, they are the new MCP. Like everybody was doing MCP last year. Now everybody's doing CLIs because they are actually better for desktop agents to understand and operate without burning a lot of tokens.
But they do have the limit of there needs to be a computer on.
Yes. Absolutely. There need to be on your computer.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the idea. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Why are you using reminders?
I really just missed being able to use Siri or the Apple Watch and just to
Right.
bring up Siri and say, hey, remind me to do this. Because otherwise, with other task managers, I end up forgetting to save tasks. And at the very least with Siri, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. And also because I figured I'm going to have to switch in the summer anyway. So I might as well do it now and get ready for June.
Oh, that's actually an interesting point, though, right? Because it's like, well, now you've built these incredible features for yourself, but like, how do
Yes.
you test the OSs if now you're like abstracting the OS away all the time?
Well, I
You're
gotta
gonna
do
have
both,
to stop
right?
doing some of these things in the summer, right?
Well, yeah, or I can. There's an interesting angle for doing both at the same time and see how it holds up.
Right.
Like in a post real, assuming so, Apple Intelligence world. Are
How
you
does it
more?
compare?
How does it compare? Are you more
Mm.
incentivized to just use Apple Intelligence, or is there still a place if you're a nerd for desktop agents? I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's an angle. The man's got his angle.
Don't steal it from me, please. Thank you.
Oh, you watch. I'm gonna be codexing.
The Myke early review of agents.
Just written by Codex. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
He's too busy with his tvOS reviews. Really, you don't have
Right,
time for
right.
that.
Yeah. One day there will be a tvOS version worthy of a review, and then I'll return.
Rough.
You know?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay.
Well, they have to actually ship an operating system update. Was it last time? It's like, hey, look, it's liquid glass. Like, yeah, but is there though, really?
Yeah.
I actually don't think you did anything.
Yeah.
I can't see anything. It's the Pam meme. You know, it's like these two pictures are the same. That's tvOS now.
Well, it's now time to command line us away. Connected space -- exit. There's probably more to do than that in there. That was really bad.
It was terrible.
I'm going to leave it
Yeah.
in, but I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah. Sorry.
If you want to find links to stuff we spoke about, they're in your podcast player. They're also on the web. relay.fm/connected/605. Next week, it's a big one. We'll be making our picks for WWDC. We have regular picks. We each get a risky pick. We have flexies to make. I've been working. I'm not real happy with what I have so far.
I haven't even thought about it yet.
No, me neither.
I mean, it usually helps me to go through the draft, like, stuff, because then I'm seeing so many picks, you know, like I'm seeing into the matrix, and then it helps me kind of formulate something. But, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I got. I got nothing.
We'll find out next week how much we got, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll have it
Yeah.
by next week, but, like, right now, I don't have it.
And the week
Yeah.
after, we'll know how we've done because we'll score
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully. Unless they cancel WWDC.
I don't think they're going to do that.
But that's the thing, is that, like, we don't know at this
But
point.
can you imagine if they do?
They might have to. You don't know what's happening.
Well, whatever happens, we'll be here.
Unless you cancel the show.
Unless whatever cancels WWDC cancels all of us.
Yes. Oh, no. Oh, no.
If you think you know what that might be, you can leave us a note. There's a feedback form on the website. The link is in the show notes. You can go to connectedfeedback.com. That can be anonymous. It can rhyme. It can be funny. Whatever you want to do, drop us a note. You can also join and get Connected Pro, which is the longer ad-free version of the show we do each and every week. This week we spoke about a new Ferrari that Johnny Ive was involved with. And boy, it's a car. It's a car. Go listen to that. If you want more of us in the meantime, you can find Federico at macstories.net. Go check out this Big Reminders article. He published it just before we recorded. It's really awesome. You can find Mike's work across Relay at a bunch of different shows, and you can find my writing at 512pixels.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Century and Steam Clock, making the show possible. And until next week, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.